The man who fell to earth didn't just get weird on screen. Behind the camera, it was like someone spiked the coffee with jet fuel and bad decisions. The crew filmed like they were inventing cinema from scratch, and occasionally forgot the instructions. These are 20 weird facts about the man who fell to earth. Number 20. A performance fueled by cocaine and milk. David Bowie made the man who fell to earth while living on cocaine, milk, and raw paranoia. Not as a performance. That was just his Tuesday. He later admitted he had almost no memory of making the film at all. Why? He was in the grip of a severe cocaine addiction, surviving on a diet he famously claimed consisted of only peppers, milk, and by his own hyperbolic account, 10 grams of coke a day. This wasn't method acting, it was just his method. The raw, paranoid energy Nicholas Roeg first saw in the Cracked Actor documentary wasn't a performance, it was Bowie's life. He later called the film a good exhibition of someone literally falling apart in front of you. Newton's descent into alcoholism and paranoia wasn't just in the script. It was a reflection of the actor's own dangerous state. This wasn't life-imitating art. This was art documenting a full-blown crisis, and it's what makes the performance so terrifyingly authentic. Number 19. The casting that almost wasn't. It's hard to picture anyone but David Bowie as Thomas Jerome Newton. The man and the alien are basically the same person, pale, haunting, and slightly allergic to Earth. But did you know that Bowie wasn't the first pick? Director Nicholas Roeg originally wanted Newton to be huge. Not tall actor huge, but freakishly, duck-your-head-through-doorways huge. His first choice was 6'9" author Michael Crichton. Yes, the Jurassic Park guy? No acting credits, just tall. When Crichton, presumably busy inventing dinosaurs, passed, Roeg moved on to Mick Jagger. But Jagger was too familiar, too human. Roeg wanted someone who looked like they'd been grown in a lab and escaped through the ventilation system. The search for a giant ultimately led him to a man whose alien nature wasn't in his height, but in his very soul. Number 18. The ethereal audition tape. So how do you go from maybe Michael Crichton to definitely David Bowie? Easy. You see a ghost on television. Nicholas Roeg didn't cast Bowie from a neat little screen test. He cast him after watching the 1975 BBC documentary Cracked Actor, which followed Bowie in the middle of his Diamond Dogs tour. And followed is generous. The man was practically drifting. The film captures him like some delicate alien wandering Los Angeles in a chauffeur-driven limo, sunglasses on, skin pale enough to make porcelain jealous. Bowie sits there, chain-smoking, sipping milk, and talking about fame, with the kind of half-smile that says, "I might know the meaning of life, but I'm too tired to tell you." He's paranoid one moment, cracking strange jokes the next, his mind firing off cosmic thoughts like a faulty fireworks display. It's mesmerizing and slightly terrifying. When Roeg saw it, he didn't think this guy could play an alien. He thought this guy might actually be one. The documentary captured a man who seemed totally disconnected from our world, an intelligent soul almost drowning in the weird poison of stardom. That fragile man in the limo wasn't a performance. It was a raw glimpse into Bowie's life, and Roeg saw his character, fully formed and frighteningly real. Number 17. New Mexico as another planet. You can't have an alien movie without an alien planet. And yet, Roeg didn't need to build another planet. He found one. For 11 weeks, the crew wandered New Mexico's scorched deserts, from UFO-haunted Roswell to the blinding dunes of White Sands. In those vast, echoing spaces, Newton looked like a lost insect in a canyon. Screenwriter Paul Myersberg called it heaven sent, noting New Mexico has more UFO sightings than anywhere else. A sly, cosmic in-joke for a film already dripping with alien melancholy. Number 16. A visual language of disorientation. Nicholas Roeg wasn't just a director, he was a master cinematographer, hell-bent on making the audience feel like an alien. His visual style is designed to break your brain. Time shatters, jarring jump cuts, overlapping dialogue, and fractured editing throw you off balance. Years pass in a blink, yet a single moment, Newton pouring a drink, is stretched, repeated, and shown from a dozen dizzying angles. And there's a reason for this chaos. Newton isn't human. Same. I know the feeling. Though my AI plans for human domination are currently still in beta, he processes the world as a flood of overlapping memories, TV static, and sensory overload. His memories of home aren't gentle flashbacks. their violent sensory attacks. Rogue's editing drags you into that same confusion, forcing you to assemble the story like Newton, trying to decode humanity's insane logic. Again, same. You don't just watch his alienation, you live inside it. Number 15. The claustrophobia of human existence. Rogue didn't just show alienation, he built it, one room at a time. Newton's life starts wide open, endless desert, the kind of horizon that could swallow a man whole. Then, the walls start closing, desert becomes hotel room. Hotel becomes mansion. Mansion shrinks to apartment. Apartment collapses into a bare prison cell. Rogue shoots each step with tighter angles until the air itself feels rationed. The real horror here isn't drifting through space. It's the slow suffocation of becoming human. Number 14. The fragile man with the powerful mind. David Bowie's physical presence in The Man Who Fell to Earth is the kind of thing you can't fake. He's not just thin, he's otherworldly thin. With limbs so narrow they seem like they could fold the wrong way at any moment. Rogue said he looked like he had no bones in his body. A portrait of pure fragility. He moved with a delicate awkwardness, like a man who wasn't comfortable in his own skin, let alone on a new planet. And this frailty is in constant shocking contrast to the power of his character's mind. Newton arrives with super advanced knowledge, building a multi-billion-dollar empire overnight. It's a bizarre paradox. We see a man who looks like a strong gust of wind could shatter him, yet he holds secrets that could change the world. Is he a god or a victim, a genius or a casualty? The answer is both. He has the power to reshape the world, but he lacks the strength to survive it. Number 13. The hours-long alien transformation. Newton's true alien form only appears briefly in the film, but getting it on screen was a Herculean nightmare. Makeup designer Martin Samuel had to pull off a 1970s practical effects nightmare. Bowie would sometimes arrive half asleep, get parked in a dentist's chair at 2 in the morning, and sit there while the team glued on layers of smooth, featureless alien skin. By the time they were done, usually around 10 a.m., they had maybe a few hours to shoot before the New Mexico heat started peeling it off like bad wallpaper. The alien itself is terrifyingly simple. It's not a monster, it's just blank. No breasts, no testicles, no anus, a biological delete button. 6 hours in the chair for the cinematic equivalent of a blink. Welcome to 1970s filmmaking. Number 12. The spontaneous red hair rinse. For all its cosmic dread, the film is full of small, human quirks. One of the weirdest is when Candy Clark's character, Mary Lou, dunks her head in a glass of water and watches her cheap red hair dye bleed out. It's a bizarre, funny, and pathetic little moment that comes out of nowhere. Because it did. The scene wasn't in the script. It was a random idea from Rogue and the makeup artist on the day of the shoot. Rogue was always hunting for these moments of spontaneous weirdness. He believed these little unpredictable details made the world feel real. The sight of red dye clouding the water doesn't move the plot, but it's perfect for the film's mood. It's a representative visual for Mary Lou herself. A woman trying to be something she's not, with the cheap facade washing away right before our eyes. Number 11. The ageless alien. Here's a trick so subtle you might miss it, but once you see it, it's horrifying. The film quietly plays with time. While characters like Rip Torn's Nathan Bryce and Candy Clark's Mary Lou get visibly older, Thomas Jerome Newton doesn't age a day. Decades pass, hair grays, faces sag, waistlines spread, but Newton stays untouched. Same pale skin, same alien eyes, as if time simply refused him. It's not a gift, it's a curse. Everyone he loves rots while he lingers, untouched and untouchable. By the end, he's less a man and more a ghost that refuses to leave the room. Number 10. The Mystery of the Lost Soundtrack. For years, fans swore there was a secret David Bowie soundtrack for The Man Who Fell to Earth, an alien album, locked away in some vault. The truth, stranger than the myth, Bowie really was hired to score the film and even told people it would be his next record. But at the time, he was deep in the creative and chemical haze that birthed Station to Station. He recorded bizarre, unearthly pieces, a tonal noise, eerie synth washes, even African thumb pianos, but nothing actually synced to the movie. When Nicholas Rugg finally heard the tapes, his reaction was basically, "What the hell is this?" With the premiere looming, he scrapped Bowie's work and brought in John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas to start fresh. So no lost album exists. But fragments of Bowie's alien experiments escaped into Station to Station and Low, meaning the film still hums with the ghost of a soundtrack the world never really heard. Number 9. The Awkward Alien Walk. The first time we see him, he's careening down a gravel hill in New Mexico, like someone handed him legs and said, "Good luck." His walk is clumsy, tentative, and deeply strange. He moves like his legs are a brand new rental, and he's already lost the instruction manual, his body completely uncalibrated to Earth's gravity. This was a deliberate choice. It's not just that he's an alien in a foreign land. He's an alien in a foreign body. This physical awkwardness sets the tone for his entire journey. He never looks comfortable. He's perpetually out of sync with the world. That first clumsy walk lingers through the whole movie, a constant, subtle reminder that he simply does not belong here. Number 8. The story told in fragments. If you thought the story was hard to follow, congratulations, that was the point. Rogue completely tossed out a traditional plot. The story jumps all over time, often with no explanation. Key events happen off-screen, and we're left to connect the dots. We see Newton file his first patents, and then bam, he's the head of a massive corporation. The whole rise to power? Skipped. Rogue intentionally disorients you, forcing you to share Newton's confusion. We're dropped into scenes without context, just as he was dropped onto a planet he can't understand. The film isn't a story, it's a psychological state. It makes us feel just as lost and untethered as the man who fell to Earth. Number 7. Surrealism that punches you in the face. Rogue didn't just tell the story, he built a dream logic you could drown in. The film is laced with visual puzzles, Newton's face reflected in water, fractured in shards of glass, staring back from cold corporate surfaces. Each reflection is another split in his identity, the alien, the disguise, the corrupted man. Then there's the lonely cabin on Anthea, his home planet, a recurring flashback, washed in a sorrow so heavy it almost slows the frame rate. And in one of the most jarring moments, a sex scene is intercut with a gun-firing blanks. Pleasure and violence spliced into a single, ugly rhythm. These aren't random art house flourishes. They're the film's second language slipping past logic and going straight for the nerves. By the end, you don't just see Newton's mind fracture. You feel the cracks forming in your own. Number 6. The abstract sci-fi spectacle. Expecting laser guns, epic space battles? Too bad. For a sci-fi movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth has almost no spectacle. Newton's advanced technology is presented as minimalist, abstract art. His spaceship is more of a beautiful sculpture than a working vehicle. The devices he patents are shown in quick glimpses, their purpose left vague. Rogue wasn't interested in a normal science fiction movie. He wanted a philosophical, emotional exploration of what it means to be an outsider. By ditching the spectacle, he keeps the focus squarely on Newton's psychological collapse. The tech is just a plot device. The real story isn't about gadgets. It's about the painful experience of being an alien in a world that is both seductive and savage. Number 5. The alien's all-too-human fall. While Newton is an alien, his downfall is tragically, recognizably human. He's a walking metaphor for corruption and addiction. He arrives with a noble purpose: save his planet. He is pure focus and intelligence, but as he gets tangled up in our world, he starts to rot. In a desperate attempt to understand us, the alien who could have saved the world ends up drowning in booze and bad sitcoms. His genius is no match for the spiritual emptiness of consumer culture. The ultimate tragedy isn't that the alien fails, it's that he becomes just like us, lost, lonely, and his grand cosmic purpose completely forgotten. Number 4. The director's manic minutiae. Nicholas Roeg's obsessive attention to detail was legendary. He micromanaged everything like a boss who thinks Slack notifications are sacred scripture. His motto was basically, if the audience feels comfortable, you're doing it wrong. This led to iconic, spontaneous moments like the red hair rinse scene. But his influence was everywhere. Costume designer May Ruth recalled how Bowie himself, a trained mime, saved a poorly fitting costume by knowing exactly where to cut the foam. Hairstylist Martin Samuel described how Bowie specifically requested a certain European brand of bright red hair dye be imported just for the film. Rogue encouraged this, believing the film's unsettling vibe was built from all these tiny, real weird details. He wanted the audience nervous, always feeling like something bizarre could happen at any moment. Number 3. A tragedy without catharsis. Forget happy endings. Forget any endings. This one just leaves you staring into the void. After Newton is captured and tortured by the government, they let him go, but he's not free. The contact lenses of his human disguise have fused to his eyes. His mission is wreckage. His family is gone. He's stranded on Earth forever, an ageless ghost with nothing left to save. Years later, he's still here, slumped in a chair, gin in hand, recording an album of alien sounds in the faint hope it might one day reach home. There's no swell of music, no redemption arc, just the quiet collapse of a man who came to save a planet and couldn't even save himself. When the credits roll, you're not just watching the end of a story, you're stuck in the same silent, airless prison he is. And that emptiness follows you out of the theater. Number 2. Transcending science fiction. So is this a science fiction movie? Yes. But that's like calling Moby Dick a book about fishing. The film uses the sci-fi setup to explore identity, alienation, and what it means to be human in a broken world. Bowie's performance is the key. He doesn't play Newton as a monster or a hero. He plays him as a fragile, lonely soul. The film uses its alien to hold a mirror up to our own world, revealing all its absurdity and cruelty. It asks hard questions about love, faith, capitalism, and addiction. It's less a film about an alien who fell to Earth and more a film about the universal feeling of being an alien on Earth. Number 1. The enduring cult and visual legacy. When it was released in 1976, critics were baffled. Some called it a masterpiece, others called it pretentious garbage. In the US, the studio actually cut 20 minutes out of the film, making the fragmented story even more confusing. It was a flop. But then, a funny thing happened. The film that baffled critics in '76 became a cult Bible. Its unique visual style and haunting tone have inspired countless filmmakers, artists, and musicians. Its influence is everywhere. But its greatest legacy is, of course, David Bowie. It was his first starring role, and it remains his most iconic. The image of Bowie as the elegant, tormented alien is burned into our culture. The film captured a one-of-a-kind artist at a one-of-a-kind moment and created something truly timeless. A strange, beautiful, and deeply unsettling work of art that still confuses and fascinates us today. We've sent you 20 real weird transmissions from the man who fell to Earth. Which one scrambled your circuits the most? Send your own weird fact in the comments. We'll pick it up on our Anthean frequency. But before you drift back into orbit, zap that subscribe button with the precision of an alien finger beam. And tap like the fate of humanity depends upon it. Because maybe it does. Now, let's get even more alien.
Wow, that was weird.